we started out as a summer program as a part of, in collaboration with this Johns Hopkins School of Nursing and Historic East Baltimore Community Action Coalition. Mama Kay actually started with a domestic violence project, summer project, where we had young people who were dealing with issues in regards to domestic violence. And this was a theater project. At the end, this was a summer job, and they had a powerful show that was presented to the East Baltimore community. And from then on...
And we expanded and expanded. Our focus was violence prevention from many facets, community violence. Every area that you could think of, we began to focus on violence. And from there, like Mama Rashida said, we expanded to a full-time company, and we just kept expanding and kept expanding. We kept adding members and community members and board members until we built this community of womb workers.
That's the truth.
Yeah, and we started really tackling all kinds of issues and collaborating with other organizations, community organizations, grassroots organizations, some government organizations too. They would commission us to do performances in dealing with compelling issues such as HIV prevention, drug prevention, gang violence prevention were the issues that we dealt with. We've also collaborated with Morgan State University School of Public Health in dealing with issues around sexual assault and as well as HIV prevention, but certainly sexual assault. We've done some shows on childhood sexual assault. So any issue that affects communities and particularly youth and their families, we try to tackle those issues through theater. So we find the arts to be just a powerful tool in helping to heal our community.
Our processes are very African focused. We use the rites of passage model. We also use the virtues model, Virtues Project model as a part of character building for our people. I guess the main thing is our focus is really the emotional emancipation of breaking the lie of white supremacy and the lie of black inferiority. That is our push. In every facet that we work on. Mama Deborah is one of our board members and an actor, and she just does multiple things with us, as we all do. Yes. But our thrust within our community as community workers is that lie. And so our work really is very much empowered by that thought as we worked with that whole thought of emotional emancipation of our people.
Yes, because we're finding through theater, even sometimes when we go into schools, before we even able to teach about theater, particularly in African American communities, sometimes we have to deal with issues around image, how we view ourselves, how we feel about ourselves. We really have to actually tackle this lie of black inferiority. It's 2016 and we have young people who are still using black as an insult, feeling like the way their nose look or the way their hair look is not okay, and we are trying to eradicate that. And we use theater as a way to help young people talk about those issues and really help elevate and emotionally emancipate ourselves in regards to that.
Right. The other component that I think is important that we have done, I don't know if on purpose, but it just fell that way, that we have been working in systemically with like the health disparities have been a big thing for us. Yes. Right. And so we have really worked diligently in certain areas that are kind of different than tradition and other theater works. But we've gone right in, and this has made us such revolutionaries in working with community building. Yes. Because I think that's our thrust, that we do that. I don't know, Mama Deborah, you want to talk a little bit on that?
Well, I would certainly say that the things that are done is a different way of getting the information to the people that is needed. And through the theater, I think it's received better because the issues are prevalent from every direction. But one of the things I know a lot of time people talk around stuff and they never talk to stuff. But through WombWork Productions, the pieces that are done direct things head on, not just by identifying the problems, but by giving solutions in the production. Because a lot of times we will talk stuff to death, and when you walk away from the conversation, you have no way of dealing with anything because nobody ever addressed that. But I always say that WombWorks ends with a solution to the problems that they deal with.
Yeah, because, one about, I think we believe that the community has the power and the wisdom to heal itself. So in that, we share true stories, and the solutions that we come up with are solutions that we as a community, have come up with together. So it's real, and I think that is the power in the productions, because they are real stories. We do share factual information, and we come up with solutions that are the community solutions to its problems.
That's right.
And that is the healing part of it. That's what makes the healing really powerful.
The other component, I think, is the spiritual part that we bring. We're not afraid of spirituality.
Yes.
We as a people are very spiritual. And even us coming with different religious understandings, we all bring that and recognize the beauty in all of consuming that in a way as a part of what we bring.
Absolutely.
And that is a big part of that makes it so powerful. I think.
I do too, because I think particularly as African people in the diaspora all around, on this continent of Africa, many times one of the things that separates us, religion is a really big thing that keeps us separate sometimes. But within WombWork, what we try to do is to bring together those, as Mama Kay, those religions. So it doesn't matter whether you're Christian, Islam, practice Islam, whether you practice Ifa, all of our traditional, whether you practice in the Akan religion, whatever it is, we come together and knowing that we are one, coming together in unity. And we have ceremonial practices. We may go to a sweat lodge, or we may, in celebration of our Native American culture, we may bring together, have young people meditating, doing agniculture, and bringing together all of our, whatever healing modality that can bring healing to our community. That's our focus. That's what we want to bring. And with that, young people and elders get a chance to experience all of that and to see the oneness in all of our spiritual walks.
You just said something too. The intergenerational component is a very important element that we bring village.
Yes.
Because we have theater companies for every age group.
Yes.
The little ones, they just left us. That's why we're exhausted right now. So we have 5 to 12-year-olds, and sometimes they come 3 and 2. And then we have the teenage group, and then we have the older group, and sometimes we work all together. Yes. So I think it's very village-like, and that is very wonderful.
That's important, because that's important in our community.
Right.
That we recognize the village and we honor the elders and we learn from them.
Yes.
Okay, and we pass it on to the young folks. So that's one of the other things that I appreciate much about WombWorks is that it's intergenerational.
Right.
Because that's necessary. That's necessary.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah, and just the model of each group reaching back and helping the group behind
That's
them.
right.
Because our adult company, specifically our young adults, the 21 to 35-year-olds, they're mentoring the teenage group. And the teenage group, they're working to mentor the 5 to 12-year-olds and standing as an example, because that is a traditional African way. We have to be responsible for the generations coming up behind us. And we try to model that in everything that we do.
And I can go a step further to say that older group is really preparing very quickly to take over. I think they're doing, right now in this last year particularly, with them taking over in teaching positions and being so successful, that I see them gearing up to really take our places as we move into seniorhood.
That's right.
And it seems like there's nothing we can do. It's an inevitable process as we move into the winter of our lives that we are leaving something to that
Yes.
Yeah, and
young
that you have
people.
prepared them to take over.
Yeah.
And that you get the opportunity to watch them in action.
Right.
What a
Yes,
gift.
that's
What
very
a gift.
important. Yeah, they're in a great film that is going around the country now in film festivals called
Confidential Informant.
Confidential Informant.
It's a short film, and it is getting rave reviews. I think they just, Thaddeus just came back from LA. They had a red carpet celebration of the film down in, I think, in Virginia, outside of DC. So it's a lot going on. And we have some other...
He just texted me, though. Thaddeus just texted me to say that based on that film, he just got a really huge audition.
Yeah.
And he asked for our prayers.
Okay.
So we're praying for you, Thaddeus.
That's right.
Yes, I think he's doing a period film. This is for a period film on PBS that he's auditioning for.
Wow.
Okay, go ahead.
But there are some other folks who I think are doing some very great things. I think because of their theater experience and because of their because we do social change theater,
right.
many of them are now committed to making changes in their community. So we have some young people who are working in human services. We have
David Fakunle is in a doctorate program at Hopkins. But not only that, he's already acting as a board member and getting us so much work and really introducing us to
Grant
academians and grant writing. He's doing so much to help the community that is amazing.
Yes.
And that's Mama Deborah's son. But Mama Deborah, tell us about your daughter who was married for Kunle.
Yes.
She's in medical school now. Tell us a little bit about what they're doing.
Mari's at Rutgers, the New Jersey School of Medicine. Both of them are, I am proud to say, are have been raised socially conscious.
Yes.
And part of that raising came through their experience here with WombWork Productions. So they know that they owe something to the community to help change it. I tell them all the time, you don't have to stay here, but you got to help.
Yes.
But you have to help. So that's where they come from.
Yes, and I was thinking of, there are some young people, I was thinking of Latif. There's some of our young people have gone back to work in human services, doing counseling, working as counselors. There are some young people, of course, who are doing, Omar and Falashade are both teachers teaching dance or teaching theater. There are people, we have young people working with us who are theater teachers here in Baltimore. But all of them have come through and are doing great work in their community. And I just think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
And their commitment to their community. And so we are really celebrating, but it was the theater experience, I think, that really helped them to be able to go out with confidence, to be able to go out and become leaders in their community. Because it's really important. So this theater experience, I really think, helped them in terms of leadership, team building, all of that.
I'll tell you what else I'd like to give a shout out to. We are building a group of the young people, Edward, Christian, Charles.
Yes.
John Hansborough, they're Artardis, that are going into the schools with us, and I think we are really having a brand of how we have to group teach in the city schools. It has to be a team effort because there's so many challenges in these schools, particularly discipline problems and so forth, that you need a team to do it. Now, we're working without the kind of pay that is deserving of such work. But I think that we are planting in the minds of principals and heads of schools that you have to think about this for the resource classes in order for it to be effective. But I think that we are finding that the young people are getting so much from these experiences and people being trained properly on how to guide and teach our children is becoming a very powerful part of WombWork.
I think our process of using the virtues process, we have a communication process that we learned from Virtues Project International. We've been incorporating that into our curriculum so that young people, just teaching young people how to speak to each other, how to speak to each other civilly. So really to help young people in their character building skills to increase those. So.
Yeah, and the rites of passage and really making young people proud of their culture. And it's unfortunate that sometimes is quite a struggle.
Yes.
Because of so many negative thoughts and ideas. I work at a school, an international school, where many of the children are from Africa, and the bullying that is done to those children from our own young African American children saddens me. And we have to really begin to build and let us know the beauty of this rich culture that we can come together as one big family.
Yes.
You know, the African Union, as we done work with them,
Yes.
and we know that
We
no,
are
all
one
one
family. That we
and we
are.
have got to work on getting young people to understand that.
And I think that's where our rites of
Understand that.
passage techniques come in terms of, because we do open, we have some rituals that we do every time we open. Opening in a unity circle, pouring libation, having young people remember their ancestors, talking about our history, so that and it kind of, what it does, gets back to emotional emancipation. Many of us, when we don't know our history, you know, here in America and on the continent of Africa. And so learning to love who we are and dispelling that lie, it really bridges the gap, and it helps young people, because once you feel good about who you are, you're going to want to move towards achieving and move to higher levels of understanding and step in your place of confidence and really take on the leadership roles that we, you know, were born to do.
That's correct, Mama. Well said. Yep. Friend us on Facebook, WombWork Productions, and Facebook, Instagram, under WombWorker. Yeah, we would love to hear from you. And
Yep, and we're at our website is www.wombwork.com. You can look us up. You can send you can go to PayPal if you want to make a tax-deductible donation.
that would be helpful.
That would be very helpful for costumes and all the supplies that we
we have to
need.
have.
And if you're
Continue
interested in
going.
acting, if you're interested in coming and having an experience, you know, contact us. You can reach us at 410-258-1504.
Or 410-905-3477.
Love you. Thank
All
you.
right, peace.
I mix what I